आपण बायोजिओकेमिकल सायकल म्हणजे काय ते अभ्यासणार आहोत. Look at the diagram 7.5. In that biogeocycle is shown. Students, what is meant by biogeochemical cycle? The cyclical flow of nutrients within an ecosystem is called as biogeochemical cycle. Students, though the energy flow in an ecosystem is one way, the flow of nutrients is the cyclical manner. Although the energy flow in an ecosystem is a one way, the flow of nutrient is cyclical. Then which are the nutrients? For example, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, these are the nutrients and their flow is cyclical. All organism needs nutrients for their development, for their growth. Look at the diagram. In that diagram, the hydrosphere is given, atmosphere is given, then lithosphere is given. Students, nutrients are necessary for the growth of the organisms and the flow is transferred from abiotic to biotic factors and biotic to abiotic factors within an ecosystem. This cycle operates continuously through the medium of biosphere formed by the lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, या सर्व न्यूट्रिएंट्सचा फ्लो बायोस्फियर, हायड्रोस्फियर, लिथोस्फियर याप्रमाणे एक चक्राकार आकारात चालत असतो आणि म्हणून this cycle operates continuously in the biosphere formed by the lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. The recycling of the biological, geological and chemical resources of nutrients in this process is a complex process and depends upon the level of energy transfer in an ecosystem. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, बायोजिओकेमिकल सायकल मध्ये कंटिन्युअस न्यूट्रिएंट्सचा सायक्लिकल मॅनर मध्ये फ्लो होत असतो. The nutrients are used from abiotic to biotic and again to the atmosphere. That is why called as the biogeochemical cycle. Then what are the types of biogeochemical cycle? There are two types of biogeochemical cycles, gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Students, look at the chart, distinguishing chart. In that chart, the gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle is given in the distinguishing form. Then what is gaseous cycle? विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, मग हे वायूंचं चक्राकार परिभ्रमण कसं असतं तर an accumulation of the main biotic gaseous nutrient material is found in the earth atmosphere. For example, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle and nitrogen cycle is included in the gaseous cycle. Then what is sedimentary cycle? Sedimentary means the accumulation of main abiotic nutrients is found in soil and that sediment in the rocks of the earth. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, सेडिमेंटेशन म्हणजेच काय? पृथ्वीच्या भूकवचात आयर्न, कॅल्शियम आणि फॉस्फरस याप्रमाणे जे मूलद्रव्य असतात ते साचलेले असतात, म्हणून या सायकलला सेडिमेंटरी सायकल असं म्हणतात. Here in the gaseous cycle includes nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide and water vapor. Student, this is the distinguishing points. In the exam, you have to write the 2 points for each 1 mark. Students, gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Which cycle is speedier? The gaseous cycle is speedier cycle than the sedimentary cycle. Suppose carbon dioxide has accumulated in the area, it is quickly dispersed with the wind and absorbed by the plants. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, या गॅसियस सायकल आणि सेडिमेंटरी सायकल मध्ये कोणते सायकल हे जास्त वेगाने घडत असते तर गॅसियस सायकल इज स्पीडियर दॅन द सेडिमेंटरी सायकल. गॅसियस सायकल मध्ये वायू असल्यामुळे ते पटकन वातावरणात विलीन होतात, रिलीज होतात आणि ते ऍब्सॉर्ब केले जातात. Climatic changes and human activities affect the speed, intensity and equilibrium of these cycles. Hence, nowadays, the study of this cycle is very important. Students, do you know the cycle of gaseous and sedimentary cycle cannot be completed separately? For example, when nitrogen is present in the form of gas, the atmosphere in the form of compound, that is the nitrogen dioxide in the soil and sediment. Similarly, when carbon occurs in abiotic form, mainly in a coal, granite, diamond, limestone, and in the earth crust in the form of carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere. Generally, carbon is present in plants and animals for much shorter than it is in a coal. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, ज्याप्रमाणे गॅशियस सायकल हे अगदी वेगाने घडत असते, परंतु सेडिमेंटरी सायकल हे या कोलमध्ये, डायमंडमध्ये, लाईमस्टोनमध्ये फार कालावधी त्याला लागत असतो. This is the difference between the gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Then next, students, we are going to learn the first biogeochemical cycle in this chapter, that is the carbon cycle. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, कार्बन सायकल आपण अभ्यासणार आहोत. The circulation and recycling of carbon from atmosphere to living organisms and after their death back to the atmosphere is called as carbon cycle. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, कार्बनचं हे सर्क्युलेशन वातावरणातून सजीवांकडे, सजीवांकडून वातावरणाकडे, सजीव मेल्यानंतर पुन्हा वातावरणाकडे, हे याप्रमाणे सायकल घडत असतं. त्यामुळे त्याला सायक्लिकल फ्लो ऑफ न्यूट्रिएंट्स असं म्हटलं आहे. द अबायोटिक कार्बन atoms are circulated by recycled into the biotic mainly through the photosynthesis and respiration. Hence the carbon cycle is one of the most important biogeochemical cycle. विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, look at the diagram 7.6. 7.6 या डायग्राम मध्ये सनलाइट आहे. Then plants take the sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, they prepare their own food material. They absorb the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is used. Oxygen is given out. From the factories, carbon dioxide is given out. In the animals, by the respiration, the animals release the carbon dioxide. Then again the biotic carbon is present in the form of carbohydrates. Then biotic decomposers like the bacteria and fungi decomposes, and in the fossil fuels the carbon is accumulated and absorption is water. In this way the cyclical flow of carbon is happening. The circulation and recycling of carbon from the atmosphere to the living organism and after their death back to the atmosphere is called as carbon cycle.